Hi there. Thanks for joining us and welcome. Today we're going to be going over the many variants of Garry's Mod's most popular map. One so popular we can navigate it with our eyes closed. That's right, today we're talking about GM Construct. Now, GM Construct has gone through many changes over the years since its first creation of the White Room. But today we're focusing on the one we all know and love, Construct 13. This is the go-to map for testing all your latest add-ons, wanting to mess around with ragdolls in weird situations, or getting an odd vibe whilst you're playing by yourself, feeling like there's something lurking in the dark rooms. Now for each of these maps, we're judging them by 3 criteria. First is any notable changes. This scale goes from 1 being the exact same construct, nothing big, to 10 being, how the hell is this construct taking me back home now? Second is the secret room. GM Construct is known for having a secret room hidden under the outside ramp. I want to see if any of these maps have unique or interesting secret rooms, if any at all. So same scale of 1 to 10 on how cool the secret room is. And lastly, number 3, overall feel. This one will be different from me compared to you guys, but I'll be judging these maps based on how I feel whilst exploring them. Am I scared? Am I interested to see what's around the next corner? What kind of feeling do I get whilst I play? The map with the highest overall rating I will dub the coolest construct. Now we all know there's nothing cooler than the original, but maybe today we'll find you all some good alternatives. By the way, I'm going to link a massive collection of construct maps in the description for anyone who wants to look through them yourself, as I didn't cover all of them here. And if you have more construct maps that you want to see, let me know. Now with that intro out the way, I say it's time we get to our first map. Up first we have the Frutiger Aero construct. Now this concept has always had me imagining what if. Like, imagine a world full of peace with such care for the earth that we incorporate it into our designs and daily life. The aesthetic is something I adore greatly, and if I could, I'd hop to an alternative timeline to explore this version of Earth. Anyway, back to the map instead of daydreaming. This map is very bright and colourful to match the aesthetic. Nearby there's this small billboard of low resolution images to do with the style. I believe that's Lucky Star, which I watched a bunch as a kid for free on YouTube. That's a true first anime right there. Now this map does have a secret room, and despite its minimalism, I like it a lot. The TV with the blank broadcasting schedule is eerily similar to the one that I used to have, called Sky TV, back when I was watching Cartoon Network. It even used to have games on it. I'll put it up on screen for those who didn't grow up in the UK or with Sky TV. Maybe I should have this room in an intro someday. It looks like it would fit. Moving on, we see that the dark room is still dark. Hopefully there isn't anything in there. I get it's to test lighting props, but still, they had to have known that it was going to be off-putting. The same goes for the rest of the areas. It's all pretty much the same old construct that we've known and loved, just more blue and happy. It's got good music, the grass is broken, but still pretty to look at. Overall, I'd say it's got a good vibe. Now for the ratings. For our first section, the noticeable changes, I'm going to give it a 2. It's got new colours and music and a slightly changed board, but it's still got a pretty similar layout and emptiness at its core. For the secret room, I'm going to give it a 4, but that's mostly for nostalgia. It's pretty empty despite that one sign, but I feel like that TV makes the whole room a lot more interesting. It makes me want to build in there and make it look cozy. And lastly, the overall feel. I do love how the map makes me feel. I feel safe exploring here, maybe not the dark room, but the music and the liminal atmosphere that the Frutiger Aero world gives off make me feel comfortable here. So overall, I'm going to give this rating a 7 out of 10, for a combined total of 13 out of 30. Not the highest score, but I'm excited to see what more maps we have to get through. The first thing I notice upon loading in is the Aurora Borealis dancing in the sky above us. I'd love to see it for myself one day. And in the background I hear, hopefully, non-copyrighted music. I messed around on this map a lot when I was testing out add-ons at Christmas time, just because I wanted to get myself in the Christmas spirit, so I'm decently familiar with this map. The first notable change I see is when we enter through this door. There's a fully furnished inside with more music indoors and a very calm, rustic feel. I bet it's really warm in here compared to the outdoors. If I could, I'd just grab like a nice warm beverage here, sit in the chairs and just relax for a little bit. It'd be great if they had like a mini TV in the corner as well. But we must push back out into the cold. Next on our destination list is the dark room, or in this instance, the nicely lit but creepily empty room. However, it is still a big improvement over the usual dark emptiness. Downstairs we find the white room is replaced with fully wooden walls and a colourful construct sign. I never realised how big the room was. Turning around and going down, we see this nicely furnished and cozy home someone's made. It's got a really big bathroom, some nice music, a lot of tech that I'm not sure what they need it for, and the necessities to make any good home. Now off to the secret room, we see it's actually quite comfortable in here as well. This map definitely succeeds in making me feel safe when playing alone. The music keeps the quiet out, the dark is now lit up. Overall, I just do feel very safe. Up in the small plaza, there's this really nice Christmas tree. Maps like this make me wonder who put all of this up, or who lived here, or if it's made just for us to relax and explore in, like our own personal resort. Granted, the pool is frozen over at this time of year. Makes for a great surface to slip and slide around on though. You can gain some good speed here. In this building, there's a nice restaurant with again, some more music, the same wooden interior, and I don't know about you guys, but I'd say this is my favourite room in the map. I'd choose the home if I had to because you can't sleep on tables, but if I had spare change, I'd sit back, listen to the music and grab something to drink. Again, I bet it's got really nice temperature in here. And with all that the map has to offer seen, I think I'm ready to rate. For the changes to the construct formula, I'd say this map gets a 7. It's still very similar to construct, but with furnished indoors, a refurbished white room, changes in the weather, and an eradication of the creepiness factor. I'd say it deserves a high score. Next for the secret room, I'd say it gets a 5. Not only are there texture and furniture changes, but there's music too. It definitely feels Christmassy. Lastly, the overall feel. I'll give it a 9 because it's the first construct where a map has let me drop my guard. There's no scares, no dark empty areas, only you in a happy Christmas environment. Sure, it would be better with other people, but if you play solo, then you can still enjoy it. That leaves Construct Xmas with a score of 21 out of 30, which is an impressive score, but let's see if we've found an early winner, or if there's other maps to blow us away. While I know I'm a bit late to add Christmas stuff into a video, I still thought it was an interesting enough map to cover in case anyone wanted to check it out for next Christmas. Alright, on to our next map. This is GM Construct Zombie Apocalypse, or GM Construct but it's during the start of a zombie apocalypse, which is a slightly longer title. Right off the bat, what I noticed was the flashes of gunfire in the background, followed shortly by the horrors of the sounds. Gunfire, screaming, planes, so many different noises that make it so atmospheric and so terrifying. I can't imagine actually having to suffer through a world-ending event like this. Also faced in front of us, we see these holes in the ground with smoke coming up from them. We can only assume that this site was previously bombed or some sort of explosion happened here. Now, most of these buildings are empty or unchanged. After all, it is supposed to just be GM Construct, but caught up in a zombie apocalypse. However, that doesn't mean that there aren't some really interesting changes that I'm about to show you. I saw what I believed to be a campfire, but as I approached, I could see why people weren't huddled around it. It was a pile of bodies for people that had already turned, being burned as to not spread the infection. Whatever people were here before me did a good job taking them down, as there is a decent view here. Let's just hope that whoever did this is holding up somewhere safer. But I can't think of many places safer than here right now. I head over to the secret room, and once I enter, I immediately notice that the board has a picture of a man named Davor. Now, after some research, I found out that this man is a highly respected modder and is responsible for the creation of the well-beloved tool gun. You know, the item in your inventory under the camera. A lot of people were very upset to hear his passing, and rightfully so, as he was extremely young, passing at just 35 years old. I hope he rests easy knowing so many commemorate his life in their creations and their posts. Now, to the side of that, there are buttons to turn off the ambience that you hear in the background, like the screams and gunfire and crickets. A nice touch. Other than that, this room is virtually the same as normal Construct. After this, I head over to the dark room, but on my way, I noticed this car with some dead bodies in it. Poor guys. But besides that, let's focus on the dark room, which is way scarier than normal, as I feel that there's a zombie that might be lurking in there. I'm usually not a fan of the dark room, and in this map, I'm really not a fan of it. Unfortunately, there's nothing downstairs, but as I head up to the plaza, I notice this small bunker-style room. When I enter, there's tons of ammo and healing items in here. Now I really wonder what people cleared this place up and why'd they leave such valuable resources here in such a desperate time. Well, whoever they are, I thank them. Once I exited, I saw a ladder leading to the top of this building, so I climbed and got a great view of everything. I could also see the background and all the fighting. I'd say now is a good time for the rating. Let's start with notable changes. That gets a 4. Some of the terrain and decor is changed, however most of the points go to the bunker, as nearly every other place was the exact same emptiness as always. For the secret room, I'm gonna go with a 5. Very in the middle, but despite what it lacks in originality, it makes up for with some simple changes to the map environment, as well as a nice message to remind the community of something it misses a lot. Lastly, the overall feel. This one is like a 9 for me. This map got significantly more scary, and at the same time immersive for me. The sound design makes it really convincing that I'm just out of harm's way, whilst everyone else around me is suffering in a truly horrific scenario. Overall, this map deserves the score of an 18 out of 30. It's a decent score, and I feel like there's a lot of fun to be had on this map, especially with horror game modes, or even just to try on your own, which I highly recommend. It will be there in the pack that I link in the bio, I believe. This map tackles a part about the zombie apocalypse that I find the most interesting, the breakdown of society. I feel like that part doesn't get tackled too much as compared to the aftermath, like how The Walking Dead starts after it all happened. I think Fear the Walking Dead started with the breakdown, same with The Last of Us. I'd kill for a whole game that just watches the downfall of civilization, so if anyone knows a game, please let me know. Alright, now that we've done our reviews, I'll see you guys in the outro. Thank you for making it to the end. There's a plethora of Construct maps just waiting to be explored, and if you'd like to see more, please do let me know, as engagement shows how these topics are received within the community. With that said, today's winner is Xmas Construct. However, it was far from a perfect score. Know any Construct maps and want them to be featured in a part 2? Share them in the comments and I'll be sure to take note. This video was a lot of fun to make, as they all are, but I feel I'm getting a much better grasp of the editing software I use, and I appreciate all those who have helped me with different bits of the video. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys in the next video, and for now, just sit and enjoy the sunset.